Hi everybody, welcome back to the Web Anywhere YouTube channel. Today I'm talking to Sean Gilligan, CEO of Web Anywhere again, and we're talking about internal communication for businesses while working remotely and the business communication gap. So Sean, to kick us off, we've seen obviously a lot of companies since the beginning of this COVID-19 crisis have had to really change the way they work. They're working from home on a much larger scale and potentially going to be doing this for quite long term. So how do you see businesses handling this at the moment?
I think if you look at a typical business now, if businesses were already siloed, that's been magnified because everybody's working from home and walls have now been erected to stop collaboration. So the typical water cooler conversation that would happen in the office has now vanished. And those conversations are good for building relationships, rapport, but also getting the work done. So those water cooler conversations have to reappear elsewhere. And what's happening at the moment is the water cooler conversations are being converted to Zoom calls or to email, and neither are appropriate. If it's a Zoom call, it gets the work done, but it probably takes too long. So what could be a 5-minute water cooler conversation turns into a half-an-hour video meeting. And then you end up with Zoom fatigue and all the rest of it. Equally, if those water cooler conversations get converted to email, they lack emotion. They're often misunderstood, and it leads to email spaghetti. So there's got to be a better approach to this.
So I think you're right. Lots of people will have a tendency to, if they're not doing the Zoom calls, move over to emails. But there are lots of other things out there that people can use, such as Microsoft Teams, the Google Suite, including GChat and Hangouts. So how do you see those fitting in, and what's missing when it comes to businesses?
If we look at our personal lives and we look at things such as WhatsApp and iMessage, where we're dropping voice notes and we're sharing videos, I don't see why we shouldn't be doing that more in the workplace. So I think there's a business communication gap. And instead of being on a always on video meeting live or sending copious amounts of email, people should be posting screencasts, video messages and voice notes to bring empathy to remote work.
So internally at Web Anywhere, obviously you created a system called Watch and Learn, which we've used a lot as part of our internal communications. So how do you see that as addressing a lot of these gaps in business communication that you've been talking about?
Again, as you're going through the workflow during the day, often things are done blind. So people are doing great work, but you can't see it unless you're on a Zoom call and or the equivalent, and a screen's being shared. So by posting short 5-minute screencasts, you can avoid those half-an-hour meetings. You can avoid those 10, 15, 20-minute email chains. And it's just a richer, more efficient and effective way of communicating. I think it's also true to say that people aren't listening to each other as much because we're all working from home. So again, voice notes allows you to bring empathy by posting a voice note. Maybe it's flagging a problem, maybe it's celebrating a success. But it just brings about greater personal communication at scale within a business. And that's lacking when we're residing in email or we're on other messaging platforms, typing away as keyboard warriors.
Yeah, it certainly sort of improves a lot of those communications. From a CEO level and a management level generally, what do you see of having been the big benefits for you of using Watch and Learn across the business?
There was a study a number of years ago by Peter Cardon, and it was all around the coordination of work and where the real work gets done. And it was proven that the spontaneous communication had a greater impact on team coordination than the agenda-driven, more formal meetings. So I think what businesses need to do is set up team listening environments where the spontaneous communication can happen. And by managers being able to listen to their staff and to watch screencasts each day, that just improves the relationships and the quality of conversation within businesses in a remote first world that we're now living in. I mean, the reality is, Sharon, it's all screen based, isn't it? We're not in the office. We're not collaborating as we used to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen benefits across my team of obviously using Watch and Learn to increase collaboration. But what other types of job role and companies can you see really benefiting from this platform?
Well, if we take a few examples, for example, if I'm a recruiter or a hiring manager and I'm trying to screen candidates, once they've applied on the job board or the candidate management system, I can get them to drop a video message introducing themselves with some sort of elevator pitch. I can screen those candidates. I can then choose to accept or reject those candidates, and then actually conduct a live video call within the platform. Because Watch and Learn's an all-in-one solution, it not just caters for the asynchronous video, but you can go synchronous too. So that's an example of one approach. It might be a project management team and a group of developers creating some software as part of the software development lifecycle. They can do show and tells, they can do UAT, they can do their daily stand-ups and debriefs, all on Watch and Learn. And they can do that live with video calling in the traditional sense, or if they can't get their diaries to match, they can simply asynchronously message in groups with voice notes, with screencasts, with text messages, however they please. And so it keeps the teams working and aligned.
And I guess being able to respond in kind with video messages, audio messages, it gets everybody sort of working from the same page, really, doesn't it?
A picture's 1,000 words. We can remember 95% of what's in a video and only 10% of what we read. So if you're talking about the richness and the effectiveness and efficiency of communication, screencasting and bringing a sort of Netflix approach to work is quite enjoyable. So instead of looking at an inbox in the morning and trying to get to inbox 0, you're actually watching videos, or you're listening to voice notes, and that's just much more enjoyable.
So we've got video screencasting, we've got voice audio notes, we've got live calling to groups and individuals, which is all live and available on Watch and Learn. So if people want to find out more about the platform, how do they go about this?
Yeah, you can just check out watchandlearn.io, and on there, there's free accounts for individuals, so you can give it a test drive. And businesses can set up their own walled garden branded sites. Video sites can be public or private. They can be self-registration or invite only. So whether you're trying to engage with customers and your supply chain, or whether it's for internal use only, you can get work done on Watch and Learn. And it just brings empathy and solves the problem around spontaneous communication in a remote first world. It's all screen-based at the moment. We're all tired of video calls. We're drowning in emails, and I think this is just a fresh and different approach to communication within the workplace.
Also worth noting, probably, I guess, that Watch and Learn, there's no software to download if you're using it on the web. Is that correct?
That's right.
And it's available on iOS and Android as well?
Absolutely. So if you are on the go, you can access on your mobile phone with the native apps.
Great. Well, thanks for your time this morning, Sean.
No, I've enjoyed it, Sharon. Good to talk to you, and do send me some more screencasts and voice notes.
I will. Thank you.
Bye for now.